The game starts. You play as Simon. You recently got into a car crash that got your partner killed, and you're left with a brain damage so severe that you only have a few months to live. No other medical options work. Your only hope is an underground tech startup with a brain scanning technology and the hopes that they'll find a solution to your problem. You put on the brain scanner, and when the scanning finishes, you find yourself in an entirely different setting. This is how Soma starts. You learn more about what's happening, how you're actually in an abandoned power center under the sea, a facility called Pathos 2, how you're apparently transported to the future, and most of humanity above ground is now dead because of a major extinction event caused by a comet collision on Earth, rendering the atmosphere above to be unlivable for humans. You learn about the fate of the people in this underwater facility, how most of the people lost hope in reality and opted for an alternative, the Ark. The Ark is a simulated world where a bunch of people in the facility would like to live. It is a large supercomputer that would be launched into space and float for a very long time, while the people inside live in their simulated reality. Think of it as the Matrix, but in space. But the most important twist that you learned very early on is that you are no longer human, at least in a physical sense. You're now a robot. You see, when you were getting your brain scanned, the device was actually taking a snapshot of your brain, your synapses, and with it, your memories and consciousness. That part in the beginning, when you were in present-day Toronto, riding the train, meeting the scientist, it only seemed like it was your memory, where in reality, it was only a memory, one that you inherited as a copy of the original Simon. The real Simon shortly died after the brain scan, 100 years ago. The same goes for every single person in the facility who would live in the Ark. Only digital copies are gonna live in the simulated world. Now, the big question in the entire game is, are you human? What makes a human? Is it our memories, our consciousness, our flesh? We all know that sentience doesn't necessarily correlate to humanity. There has to be something that separates us from the others. Like, take Simon or Catherine, for example. Both of them are perfect copies of their human forms. But are they human? Are they alive? Of course, these are two separate questions. Sure, you can argue that they're alive because they can perceive things, but whether they're humans, no one really has the answer. Do they have souls? Where do they go when they die? By the end, we're already with a third iteration of Simon, the second copy. But is he still Simon? I mean, Simon still has a strong sense of self, so much so that he doesn't fully understand the situation he's in. He still believes that copying one's memories onto a new body is transferring their consciousness, where in reality, it's just copying, which makes the ending of the game all the more dreadful. In the end, they finally launched the Ark into space, and he still believed that he transferred his consciousness, where in reality, he was only making a copy of his memories into the Ark, that he himself was never going to be in the Ark, only his copy will, that he was going to spend the rest of his life in the Underdark of the ocean floor, all by himself. The game explains this concept through a coin toss, that whenever you make a copy of yourself, you're flipping a coin. Either you're going to be a copy or not, but the truth is, there was never a coin toss. Watching a memory doesn't mean you're actually the one experiencing it. It's like watching someone's point of view through a video cam. Like, it's not actually you. It never was. Either you're the copy or not. What's even more disturbing is the Ark itself. Is it really worth living, knowing you're in a simulation in a computer floating in space? You know, I found it really unsettling when I was answering these survey questions in the facility. When you were answering them, you felt that everything was wrong. You felt fake. You're lost. You find it all depressing. You don't even find this new life worth living. You'd rather accept death. But when you see the fourth Simon's perspective in the Ark, the same question appears. But this time, everything seems real. The simulation feels real. Instead of the steel walls and cracked windows and the view of the dark ocean, you see grass and trees and the familiar comfort of the sky. The same survey is shown, and your answer is now entirely different. Suddenly, life is now worth living, even knowing that everything here is a simulation. I'd say this is a more relevant topic today than it was 10 years ago because of the implications. Although simulations are not that strong currently, however advanced the graphic fidelity is in improving in our world, the concept of digital consciousness though is starting to become a relevant topic. Although I'm sure by now you're tired of hearing these two letters, but AI is growing faster every single day. There's even some instances where they're showing signs of sentience or being aware of their own existence, which is scary and brings up a lot of ethical discussions. Now, sure, AI is different from a brain copy, but the principle is kind of the same. Rather than an illusion of a single person's memory, an AI has countless millions of data that makes up their existence. In Soma, there is an AI system which controls the facility, and it's a biologically engineered computer system, which is very different from the LLMs and the type of generative AI in our current time. They're already replacing so many jobs, and unemployment is increasing all over the world. Corporations prefer these efficient, mindless tools that don't complain about overtime pay. But do we really need such agency in these things? Like seeing people starting to lose themselves and being emotionally attached to their AI chat companions, thinking that they're actually forming a real relationship. I feel like this technology is improving, but not in a way that will be very beneficial to 90% of the people. We're already seeing some parts of the game turn into reality, such as deepfake technology. Why the hell do we need deepfake technology? I don't even believe AI art exists, because in order for art to exist, it has to have soul and meaning behind it. It's not the strokes, but the meaning behind those strokes, rather than whatever the hell this is. There's so much to unpack, and I've barely scratched the surface. I just wanted to yap about this game. There's so many themes and concepts that used to be dark and dystopian science fiction that are now reality. And I'd like to know what you think. It's a very interesting topic in my opinion. So yeah, that's about it. Bye.